I will never stop loving this about homeschooling. Hey guys, what's up? My name is Mandy, the Handmade Homeschooler, and today we're going to talk about my favorite things about homeschooling. Now, this video is going to be very subjective, and everybody's going to have a different list of what they love and what they hate about homeschooling. These are just mine. I've been homeschooling for 8 years, I think, this year. I was a previous teacher. I taught for quite a while until I had my youngest child, and then I stopped, and then I pulled both my kids out of school when he was in kindergarten. So here we are. We have been homeschooling for quite a while. Now, there's an upside and a downside to everything. Everything. But instead of dwelling on the negative things, which I have other videos for that, we're going to talk about my favorite things, because who wouldn't want to know that? And I'm sure that's why you clicked on this video. Okay, so if you haven't yet, make sure that you hit the like and the subscribe button, and down below in the description box, I have links to all kinds of cool things, curriculum that I use, free trials for those curriculums. Go check that out. There's a bunch of stuff down there. Oh, and do you like my sweater? I have an Anne of Green Gables sweatshirt. I love this thing. It is so warm, and I got it on Etsy. If you want one, just go to like Etsy.com and put in Anne of Green Gables sweatshirt, and it'll pop right up. But isn't this cool? I love it. I'm such an Anne fan. Anyway, I just had to show off my shirt. So first, my very favorite thing about homeschooling is the freedom. And I'm pretty sure that most people that you ask would have this on their list. I am free. I'm free to do school the way that I want to do. And I know that that makes many people, which I find really funny, that many people get really mad about that. But most of the time, the people who are really mad about it and who yell at me on the internet don't even have kids. I find that really weird. It's like, but you don't even have kids. Like, why are you here? That's kind of weird, dude. But I digress. These people are just out of their minds. But I love the freedom that homeschooling provides, because I can school when I want, where I want, and how I want. Who wouldn't love that? I mean, tell me who in their right mind wouldn't love that. It's awesome. My second favorite thing, as an introvert, one of my favorite things is that I can go do things with my kids when there's nobody there. Imagine, if you will, going to the Creation Museum or the Ark in Kentucky. And if you haven't been, you need to go. It's awesome. And there's no lines. No lines. It's amazing. You haven't lived until you do something like that as a homeschooling family. Now, do people ask me why my kids aren't in school? I think this has happened maybe a couple of times. And you know usually who it is? It's usually the cashier someplace where I go to shop. So like if I had to go pick something up at Walmart, they're just making small talk. And it's not that they're accusing me of anything. They're just asking, like, it's almost like a hey, how's your day thing, going like, oh, your kids are with you. Cool. You know, are they off school today? Like, it's just one of those like small talk things, just because they notice your children there. It's not because they're playing 20 questions or going to call CPS on you. They just honestly want to know. And like my kids are like, oh no, we're homeschooled. And then I'm telling you, every single time that has happened, that person who asked, they were like, oh, that's really neat. I've never once had a negative comment. So if you're worried about that, I've been doing this for almost 10 years. Nobody's ever said anything negative. So don't be afraid of that. But going to the store and stuff when there's nobody there is so much less stressful. And I'm an introvert, so I don't like crowds. I get kind of like social anxiety around big crowds. So for me, it's much better for me. Let's just put it that way. It's just a lot better for me and my stress levels. The next thing is control. I get to control the curriculum and what my kids are learning. When my kids go off into public school, I have no clue what they're learning. Now, because I taught, I do know a lot of the things that they're learning, and I don't like it. And and most Christians are not going to like it. It's just like putting your child in a religious school that is not your religion. There is no neutrality in education, absolutely none. I don't care what anybody says about it. Your worldview, whether you think you're an atheist or not, is going to come out. That is your worldview. Atheism is your worldview. That's secular humanism. It's going to come out in the way that you teach and what you teach. And that is going to bleed into everything. And for me as a parent, I'm not comfortable with that. I don't want another religion being taught to my children. I'm crazy, right? I'm just a crazy person. But ask anyone of any other religion. Ask a Hindu, ask a Muslim, ask a Jewish person, would you want your kids in a Christian school? And they would say, no. Exactly. So why would I put my kids in a pagan school? Why would I put my kids in a secular humanist school? Nope. So I get to control the worldview of the books. I get to control the curriculum. I get to control that worldview. And you know, we learn so much more. And that doesn't mean that we don't learn about things. Like I had a hilarious conversation. Instagram, okay, Instagram. I had somebody making fun of me because he thought that my kids didn't know who Charles Darwin was. And I was like, you are joking, right? Like, tell me you're joking. And then he left real quick. That doesn't mean that we don't learn about other things and other religions and all the things that the, you know, liberal people think that we don't learn about. Oh no, we do learn about them. We just learn it through a Christian lens. So yes, my children know all about Charles Darwin. They probably know more about Charles Darwin than kids who go to public school, to be honest. So yes, we do learn other things and other religions, but I thought that was funny and I had to tell you. The next one, safety. We had an incident on the first day of school at 2 schools in my county. One ended in the death of a student. One ended in almost another death. And I'm not cool with that. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not cool with that. Schools here, especially in my district, are getting rough. Like, and this is how bad it is. The media, Blaze Media, just did a huge expose on the schools in my county. My county. And specifically cited the school that my son would be attending right now if he was in public school. That's how bad my schools are. Now, if we lived on the military base, they would be at better schools. But again, you know, control of the curriculum, things like that. These are just like big issue things, you know. Having my kids here and having them safe is really important to me. And I'm sure that that's important to any parent. And every time that there is a huge incident at a school, which happens, seems like every year now, since, you know, what was it, 98, 99? Yeah, it breaks my heart. And more people are homeschooling for that reason. You know, every time I see another Columbine, my heart breaks. I was in high school when that happened and it was terrifying, like absolutely terrifying for me as a student. And I can't imagine what kids go through every day wandering the halls, wondering if something bad's gonna happen that day and where they're gonna hide. Like, that breaks my heart as a parent, and I'm sure that that breaks yours. So having my kids here and not having to worry about them all day long, that's a huge plus for me. Next, fast tracking the kids. So I've talked about it a couple times before, but my youngest is ahead, like really ahead for his age. He would be so bored in school, and honestly, I think he'd be a troublemaker. I'm not gonna lie. I think that child would be a troublemaker because he would be bored because he's tested out of pretty much everything in his grade. So he keeps me on my toes, and I have to really give him higher grade material to keep him interested and engaged and moving along, you know? Which he enjoys. But if he was in public school, they probably wouldn't do that. Now, they might move him up a grade. He would be above AP classes. He would be like, we're gonna put him in a grade or two ahead type of level. And I don't know if I'm really comfortable with that either. I wouldn't want him wandering the halls of our local high school. So for me to be able to cater to him like that and give him higher level material, I think that's great. And then I can tailor everything as well. So not only can I fast track the kids, but I can tailor the curriculum to career paths that they're interested in. And that helps them get ahead when they go to college and things like that. So I feel like they're ahead of the game, which is great. And I love being able to kind of tailor everything and tailor their education for them. Lastly, sleeping in. When we lived in Missouri, when we were stationed on the base there, oh man, I had to get up so early to take the boys to school that last year. And it snows there, and I am not a Missouri girl, okay? I'm a Carolina girl. Yeah, it's cold. It's cold, and it's cold all the way up to like May. And I'm not talking like cold, I'm talking like solid ice. There's many days we can't even take the kids to school till like noon because it's like black ice and, you know, snow up to your knees type of thing. And it was just, it was crazy. It was crazy. I am built for that. I know some of you can handle it. Some of you live in like the Dakotas. Some of you live up there in Canada. That's awesome. I'm not built that way. I'm sorry, I'm not built that way. The Lord did not make me that way. I know how I'm made. And I am not made for that kind of weather. I may have been born in Indiana. I may be a Hoosier. I have Hoosier blood. I ain't built for that no more. I've been acclimated to Carolina, and I just can't deal with that. So getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning to take the kids to school, I was freezing. I was freezing and I hated it. And I constantly had to go back and forth because the kids are enough years apart where they're at 2 different schools. So I had to go drop them off and pick them up, and I was leaving my house 4 times a day to do school runs. And it was just too much. It was just too much. It drove me crazy. I never got anything done with my work at home job because I worked at home then, because I was too busy doing school runs to be able to do that. So now that I'm home, and I don't work anymore, but now that I'm home and I feel like I actually get things done in my house, and it's kind of nice. So, you know, every situation is different, but that was my situation and I didn't like it. So I'm really glad that I can do that now, and you know, everything is so much more calm and quiet and relaxing, and I love it. I love this atmosphere that I have at home. I'm such a homebody, so I like that. And it leaves us more time to do things that we want, like field trips and, you know, day trips, things like that. It leaves so much more time to do the things that we need to do and the things that we want to do, because I'm not running all over the place, and I get more sleep, which, I mean, who doesn't want that? I get more sleep. I do not wake my kids up at the crack of dawn to do school. We all sleep in, okay? We all sleep in, and we enjoy it. Anyway, that's my video. Tell me down below, what is your favorite things about homeschooling? I would love to know. What's your list? All right, I'll see you guys in the next video. I hope you have a great rest of your day and happy homeschooling.